We have officially made it 1 week into 2026. Pat yourself on the back. Congratulations. What a year it has been, huh? This year, I've done a grand total of one thing on this channel, and that is doom post about the future. Yes, sorry for being a little negative last week, but can you blame me when the world is metaphorically and literally on fire with whatever the US is doing and the AI bubble? But that's all in the past. Well, not really. But for a moment in this video, I don't want to focus too much on real life events. I want my videos to be a sort of escape from whatever the hell's happening outside, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't go outside once in a while. So with that in mind, superheroes. A combination of the word super and hero. People that have superhuman abilities and use them for the good of people. We've all idolized superheroes like Spider-Man and Batman as a child, and for some, that feeling stuck around all the way into adulthood. And honestly, it's a beautiful thing to see. But personally, I think as a child, you idolized Batman, but in adulthood, you realize the Joker makes more sense. Superpowers are something that most superheroes have. It's literally in the name, and because we see them a lot as a child, I'm sure all of you wanted superpowers so bad as a kid, or maybe even now as an adult. Whether it be web slinging around town like Spider-Man, or be a billionaire playboy like Iron Man, or wielding dogs like Doc Wilder. What the fuck is this? This is the real hero from DC. Who thought of this? Being able to do something that is hyperbolically out of the ability of the human body, and in some cases the laws of physics to do good, is very attractive to most. Sadly, in real life, there's no known ways to get superpowers. People who get bit by spiders get sent to the hospital, and the only people who are able to turn invisible after going to space were the crew of the Challenger. It's very disappointing. As much as I want to move at the speed of light, it may never be possible. In our lifetime at least. But in my opinion, after seeing all the crazy shit that goes down in superhero movies, comics, universes, I think no one being able to have crazy superpowers like they do in fiction is a very good thing. Why? I think the best explanation for that opinion is found in this little small known show that's called Invincible. Is a comic/animated show following Mark Grayson, also known as the superhero as he goes through the trial and error of becoming a superhero, and in every other episode, his will and strength is tested to show if he really lives up to the name. Okay, that's enough. It gets to a point, okay? That's enough. But I'm not necessarily going to be talking about Invincible himself, but more about the Invincible universe. This universe is particularly distinct from any other superhero universe. Compared to something like Marvel, where someone like Doctor Strange can confidently take on Dormammu and still crack jokes and come out relatively unharmed, it's the complete opposite of that. Every villain is almost an Ultron level threat, where almost all fight Mark goes through, he gets beat up to a pulp and entire teams fighting them did come out dead or severely injured. Omni-Man fights the Guardian of the Globe and murders all of them, which indirectly led to him almost beating the life out of his son in the season finale. Hell, the entire Invincible War and the Conquest fight right after that is the perfect example of this. It is not nice in this universe. I think the only similar universe I can find out there is probably the absolute DC universe, where all the fucking villains are batshit insane. Now, with that in mind, how does this translate to not having superpowers is good? Well, I think the Invincible universe is a very realistic example on when superheroes meet villains that actually have powers that are of equal power or completely over theirs, and what happens to them is exactly what would happen in real life. Superheroes will face villains with equal or better powers compared to them, and will come out of the fight insanely injured, but unlike the Invincible universe, we don't have Cecil and his R&D team with some super fast healing technique. If they come out of a fight injured, they are pretty much out of service for weeks at a time. On top of this, while superheroes may have superpowers, their mental state would remain the same as a normal human would. Like how Invincible may be the strongest on Earth, after his fight with his father, he is left coping that his father was responsible for a massacre, and this is reflected realistically with him constantly stating that he's not the same as his dad. Realistically, people with superpowers would more likely become villains over heroes, whether it's because of vengeance, a warped belief, economical constraints, and this is still discounting stuff like politics and shit, which which I would rather not get into. Hell, I don't know how Spider-Man still sticks with the no-kill rule after all he's been through. But in real life, I'm 80% sure he would break that rule. Without villains matching the hero's power level, they essentially become pretty underused. But let's give a hypothetical. Which superhero, if they got transferred to our Earth, would actually still be as helpful or even more helpful than they were in their original verse? I can think of two candidates, Batman and Spider-Man. Here's why. Batman in Gotham is already taking on street-level thugs and criminals if you discount people like Scarecrow and Poison Ivy, similar to what we have today. If Batman would settle in somewhere like Los Angeles, I'd reckon the entire city would be cleaned of crime by next week. And Batman as a person is also wise, disciplined, and selfless. In my opinion, he's one of the best kind of person to become a hero. Similarly, Spider-Man would be of help in the same way. He's witty, fast, and like Batman, deals with street-level crime. Someone like him patrolling New York City, I don't think anyone would skip paying the fare anymore. There's a sort of pattern you can see here. A hero that is useful in real life is not someone that can destroy an entire continent if they see it necessary, but it's someone who's powerful enough to take on street-level crime and bust down organized crime, and nothing more. For comparison, if someone like Superman is here, with flight, laser vision, and obscene strength, he can take on street-level crime, but he is overflowing in power. And I wouldn't put that much power and trust into a single person, because in universes like Injustice, it showcases how many things can go wrong if the wielder of said power turns the wrong side. And those two picks are a more optimistic vision. Another possible outcome is something like the Dispatch universe, where superheroes become contract workers, doing things for people that are only subscribed to their service, which undoubtedly is very scummy and capitalistic, but it's probably a service that would exist in the real world had superheroes existed. But alas, that's my take on superheroes if they existed in real life. Would superheroes, whether overpowered or underpowered, be useless in real life? Not necessarily, but they come with their own drawbacks, and I think the most optimal superhero, were they to exist in real life, is the ones that possess the power to overthrow organized crime but at the same time not be so overpowered that maintaining them without another suit is impossible. So basically street level heroes. But maybe you people have different opinions on which superheroes work best in real life, and if you do, let me know in the comments. But that's pretty much it for this video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it and want more, and you know, if Captain America was real, do you think he would participate in the capturing of President Maduro?
Negative numbers. Let's go to hell. Stop! Oh,